We are live. Welcome back to the original. One thing I can say about this is the word. But we're gonna rebrand it. Let's call it the the sentence. Did I lose you there?
No, I'm here. I'm having a few technical difficulties.
No, I meant
it's the first night.
I meant did I lose you just on the joke? I think I lost everybody on that one.
Well, you typically do lose me on the joke.
Oh, yeah.
But
I
for
don't have
those
very
of you
good
playing the
writers.
home game, this is the word. I'm Rich Abernethy alongside James Mundia.
Yes.
James, feels good to be back.
It feels really good to be back. How does my audio sound? I don't even know how do I sound?
As loud as always.
That's good. Okay, so we are rebooting. We tried to do this
Several
many times.
Several iterations. What began in a control room in Chapel Hill, North Carolina in the mid-2000s, and has popped up in various forms on iTunes and other various places. We're now trying it this way, so we'll see what happens.
Were we on iTunes?
Yeah, you were posting podcasts at one point.
Oh, I don't know how I did that because I tried to do that with another podcast a few months ago and I couldn't figure it out for the life of me.
In a former life, you were good at computers and were able to do things like that.
Yeah, I did. Trust me, it was a struggle, like figuring out how to use this Hangouts. I had never seen it. This is really complex.
Are we Mark Marining right now, or we just start talking randomly, just start the show? We don't really get into anything with a formal introduction.
Okay, good. That's a good point. Let's go over what we're doing today. Let's go over the show. The show is sports news and stuff. For those,
Pretty simple.
Very simple format. Today on the show, okay, I scribbled an outline together. That's actually more planning than we typically do in any environment.
We don't use ENPS. We don't have a rundown. This is amateur hour by the very definition of it, except more like amateur 25 minutes tonight.
I don't even know what MPS is. Am I supposed to know what that is?
ENPS. You didn't use ENPS when you were at an Emmy award-winning high school TV producer.
I was really hoping. I was hoping that wouldn't come up. I'm gonna pretend like I didn't hear that. No, I don't know what MPS is.
ENPS, like four letters, like ESPN. ENPS.
Yes.
And basically, it's a program that you use for live TV shows to have the rundown and move things around and update scripts and graphics and all sorts of things.
Oh,
it's a very helpful professional program for those in the TV industry, which I may or may not be one of.
Yeah, I wouldn't know anything about that. The professional world of entertainment and television is far beyond my grasp. I hope at least. Okay, so but that all that aside, we wanted to do this show. We're going to backtrack. We wanted to do this show a couple weeks ago after the wild card round of the playoffs, because I think that people really got their money's worth with the playoffs this year. We just had the conference championship games, but that wild card round. Can we just talk about the Cincinnati situation?
Please. Well, before we get there, I'd like to apologize. We could have done the show that Sunday night or Monday.
Yes.
But the Panthers' second half performance got me in the intensive care unit. They had to get the defibrillator out and make sure I was going to be okay.
Wow.
But, yeah. So we're going back to divisional round. You want to go way back?
No, I just want to say one thing, and that is, and I texted you. This text is the start of the podcast. When I started texting you this, I said, maybe we should start this again. Because I texted you during that Cincinnati game as the whole city of Cincinnati was falling apart in that stadium. This can only happen to Cincinnati. And I think, I didn't say this when I texted you, but is it getting to the point now where this is actually good for sports? I think that Cincinnati having these meltdowns is a fantastic. It's fantastic for the NFL, but I think it's just.
I don't think it's fantastic. It was a bad look. First of all, Between the personal foul and all the shenanigans with Joey Porter being on the field, and all that was just a bad look, first and foremost.
Okay.
Second of all, I mean, Cincinnati has to have something go right for them at some point in the playoffs, right?
No.
I mean,
I'm forbidding it.
I like Marvin Lewis. They have a really good roster. They have some all-pro players on that team. I mean, they're not the Browns. They're not the Raiders. While they do seem to have that playoff futility stench to them, I guess, for lack of a better word. It just seems like they're always waiting for something bad to happen. I mean, there's a lot of franchises that can relate to things like that, but it's just they're like the Rockets with T-Mac.
Ooh.
Where just as soon as one thing goes wrong, everybody starts looking around. It's like, okay, what's going to happen now?
Yeah. Oh man.
They just can't get that win.
But I'm forbidding them from getting that win. I don't want it to happen. And
they're forbidding them with stupid plays. It didn't help that they had A.J. McCarron instead of Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
And let me ask you this: if that's Andy Dalton and they lose that game, does Marvin Lewis get fired?
Yeah, it's tough. He's getting a bye, and I think it's deserved because I don't think they're going to do much better than him right now. I don't think that they're settling with him. Let me be clear about that. But yeah, I think that's not a bold statement at all. One thing we forgot to introduce, of course, on this show. Now, it's an abbreviated show, but on our previous format of what was probably 2.5, 3 hours in college.
Of just rambling until we went to go play beer pong and go to bars when we were in our early 20s.
Oh, man, I totally forgot those are all on the same night. Yes.
Now it's 9 o'clock, and I'm like, I got to go to work tomorrow. I need to go to bed now.
It's time. This is actually, I'm really pushing it with starting the show at 9:35, 9:40. But in our previous format, we had 3 bold statements that were permitted. Let's abbreviate it because it's a half-hour show now. We're going to go 1 bold statement, okay? And let's go
one aggressive statement.
Let's go 1.5. So you get 1 bold statement, and you get 1 that you can say kind of like, like if you're really feeling good about yourself, but you can backtrack on it. You get like a mulligan statement. But the bold statement you have,
or you can have a bunch of qualifiers on it.
There you go, even better.
Like all those stats they give now, where it's like Cam Newton is the first quarterback who's right-handed and was born after 1985, who went to a college in the SEC, who did this. There's so many different things on those now. It got me crazy.
It's a big scam being run by the Elias Sports Bureau to keep themselves in business. They're like convincing people that you need to have these stats. So kudos to them. Hey, kudos to them for staying employed. It's hard out there.
It's a good business model.
Okay, so but let's skip ahead. We got through the championship games, and maybe things went kind of as expected, at least in the Patriots-Denver game.
I would say nobody was expected.
Well, nobody expected a dominating performance, I think, in that game. That game was being billed. Did it not seem to you like that game was being billed as like the geriatric bowl with the 2 quarterbacks?
No, it was billed almost as if the Broncos didn't have a chance, which I never really understood.
Yeah.
And I was saying it all week. Like I thought ultimately the Patriots would win.
Yeah.
But this idea that it was a foregone conclusion that New England was going to go in there and win just never really made sense to me. Between their record in Denver over the years, Brady especially, and how banged up they were on the offensive line and at some of the skill positions, and I thought they would win. I'm not going to lie and say that's not the case.
Yeah.
But I thought Denver really had a chance that they could keep them in check and keep it a low-scoring game, which they did.
I'm going to do something that I've never done before, and this is really hard for me on a couple fronts because, I'm a Patriots fan. Although I always, say up front that I'm not Johnny Worcester, but I am a Patriots fan, and I'm going to have to give a shout-out to Peyton Manning right now. Just a big. I'm giving him a big shout out.
What did Peyton do yesterday to win that game? He made a couple of nice throws to Owen Daniels.
Yes. And look,
there were a couple other throws he should have made and didn't, or guys couldn't reel him in, or they was just a little bit off. But that defense won that game yesterday.
I totally agree. I'm not taking anything away from the defense, and I'm not going to say the words "but" at the end of this upcoming sentence because that just negates what I just said. All I'm saying is shout out to Peyton Manning because, no, I'm proud of him. Get out there. Hey, this is when I knew things were changing. When he had that second scramble, and of course they made a big deal out of it because that's something that you don't really see a lot from him or Brady. But when he had that second scramble, I was like, you know what? Go out there and win this game. Yeah, you're beating my team. Okay. But I got to give a shout out to him. You're totally right. Defense won the game. Never mind. I won't bring that up. But I was watching the game, and there was a really funny comment about Von Miller, and but those guys, that was texting my buddy Dave before the game. That was what was going to be the difference. That defense, they came out there, and they rocked Brady's world in a way that he is not used to seeing, even though he does have a target on his back. But anyway, but shout out to Peyton Manning. Shout out. He's not going to win the Super Bowl. I think they're going to get blown out. But shout out to Peyton Manning.
Boy, if you weren't Johnny Worcester before, you're definitely not earning that title now.
Well, and that is what I'm saying. Exactly. Whoever I never thought that I would find myself. But you know what? He made the throws like in those crucial moments. Yes, he missed some. But in those crucial moments, especially in the second half where it was like, all right, well, here we go. This is it. And shout out to that first touchdown. Yeah, total defensive screw up. But, hey, get that ball in there, thread the needle. Anyway.
Listen, Peyton Trent Dilfer that game yesterday.
Stop it.
I'm telling you,
you know how to push my buttons bringing up Trent Dilfer. Like
I know I do. I know.
Why would you bring up Trent Dilfer?
Because that's what he did. He made a couple of nice throws. They didn't move the ball most of the day. He just tried not to screw it up for the defense. He was a game manager. He wasn't the sheriff. He was the damn deputy. Okay?
That's why I'm so proud of him. Because as anybody who knows me well knows.
Listen, your kids are going to be in great shape. You're going to get participation trophies to your kids for everything they do.
Well, that's assuming you're making a huge assumption there, which is hilarious. You're assuming that I'm going to allow my kids to play sports. Why would I allow, as someone who's coached sports now for going on 14 years at the youth level, the college level, why would I make my kids put me through?
You're going to start soccer training with your kids when they're in the womb.
No, listen.
You're going to be running them through cone drills for like 6 months.
No, listen. Why would I make my kids put me through what I've seen other soccer and sport parents go through during the life of a young athlete? I don't want to be a part of that. It's too stressful. Like, as a coach, people are always telling me, like, oh, like, yeah, do you stress out? Do you worry about winning games? I'm like, the game ends and I just kind of go home. I want to win, sure. But, like, some of these parents, I mean, I've seen, like borderline panic attacks over a like inconsequential game. Why would I put myself through that? So my kids they can play chess. That's the sport they get.
I just figured you'd have your kids play sports. You could gamble with the other parents on the game.
Ooh, so maybe that's why these parents are so into the game.
It makes sense.
Okay, that makes sense. Oh, that I see. Let's do this. I want to get to Schmoopy of the Week, which is a tradition on this show, but let me get your Super Bowl prediction.
We got to break down the Panthers.
Oh, game that's right. There was another game. I forgot.
Just a little bit.
There was
kind of a game.
Why? So my buddy Sam and I were talking about this a couple weeks ago, and it's the secret to the Panthers' success beyond being the best sports franchise in sports right now, BTW.
No argument here.
In American professional sports, the fan base, the management, the roster, the coaching, Nobody comes close.
Golden State might have a.
Oh, okay, but I'm
San Antonio, but they're on the short list.
Yeah,
they're on the short list.
My only thing with the NBA is if Golden State tanked, would their fans be ride or die? Yes. Okay, I'm just that was the question. I'm not saying they would or wouldn't. I don't know enough about them. But anyway, going back to the Panthers, the secret to their success is the fact that even with these blowout wins and the way that they blew out Seattle in the first half in the divisional round, nobody actually takes them seriously. It's actually amazing.
I know. I love it. They thrive in that underdog role. It gives them that.
How long can that go? Like, you're gonna have
hopefully 2 more weeks.
You're gonna have Gary Kubiak doing film sessions with the Broncos defense. Like, no, seriously, guys. I think this number 1 on the Panthers. I think he's a pretty good player. He can beat us in the air. Yeah, he's gonna have to. He's still gonna have to convince the top defense in the league to play hard against Cam Newton. That to me is amazing. That people still.
Why? It's because other than Cam and to a degree Greg Olsen, you know how they the early Dolphins teams with the no-name defense, it's a no-name offense.
Yeah,
and we're in such an age of daily fantasy and people playing in 3 fantasy leagues at work, and also where all they know and all they look at are numbers and stats and guys who they want to start on a weekly basis.
Okay.
And the Panthers don't have a lot of those guys. I mean, they have a couple. I mean, I'm not saying they're not talented on offense, but it's very much a type of approach. And
yes,
some weeks it's Ted Ginn, some weeks it's Corey Brown, some weeks it's Funchess or Jericho Cotchery, Olsen, Tolbert. They just spread it around so much. And other than Cam, who's the constant, there's a bit of a by committee approach, and he's the straw that stirs the drink, if you will.
We? I'm gonna just. Sorry. Go ahead. Let me go finish up. I'm sorry. I cut you off there. For years, when talking about Brady and talking about the Patriots, it's Brady makes all these no-name guys better, and the Troy Evans and David Pattons and all those guys, and they're winning Super Bowls with those guys because Brady would get them the ball in a position where they could succeed, and the head coach, the coordinators, everybody had a game plan, and everybody knew their role, and everybody fit into that and did what they needed to do to make plays to help them win. And it's an eerily similar thing, and instead of having that conversation about how much better he makes his teammates, what he allows them to do, and the diversity in the running game and how that sets everything up, all we could talk about is did Cam dance too long when he got in the end zone? Yeah, let's do a whole show just on that. I mean, I'm sure it's been done to death, but I'm just amazed. There's so many layers to that. But at the same time,
it distracts people from the real story. And
yes.
And as a fan and knowing the mindset that this team has, I don't mind it.
See,
but it helps keep them humble. It helps keep them. They have that as they won last night, and they're standing there on the podium waiting to do the trophy. And Jonathan Stewart is standing there, and instead of "Yeah, baby, we're number 1. We're going to the Super Bowl. We're going to the ship," it's "Y'all doubted us. How dare y'all doubt us?" Like that's the nobody believes in us type of thing is very strong with them. And if you use that in the right way and you use that to help keep that edge instead of, hey, we're 17-1 right now. I like the mindset that this team has.
Do you think then, and maybe this can count as my half bold statement. So, because I just finished reading the Phil Jackson coaching book, Sacred Hoops. I'm sorry, 11 Rings. And he talked a lot about how it's very well documented that coaches do this, but in the 90s and the early aughts, it was kind of not talked about. of coaches creating a controversy to distract the press away from maybe an internal problem with the team, or even just the team just being bad. And what you see with the Cam Newton thing, because now what he's doing is now he trolls and he really just hams it up. Part of it is him having fun. That's his personality. But also he knows that that's a great way to get underneath his opponent's skin. But you see with the dancing and the dab, which is I'm going to get into with Hillary Clinton. Did you see her dab on Ellen?
I did not. I hope it was better than Frank Beamer's dab, though.
I didn't. Oh, hold on. I'm going to have to Google that one. I did not know that Frank Beamer dabbed. My problem with Hillary dabbing, and I talked about this last weekend, put Bill Clinton on Ellen 10 years ago if she had a show, or, when he was running, and let him throw up a dab, and that would have been like it. Game over. The election's over before we even get to Iowa. And you throw Hillary on there, and it was just, how do you not, as a campaign manager, say, look, it's the Ellen DeGeneres show. They're going to make you dance. Here's a couple of the dances you need to know. What if you went up there and just stuck a dab? Just stuck it. That would have been it. Iowa would have been done. Now she's in a dead heat. It's absolutely ridiculous. That's just poor management. Okay, I was supposed to say that later.
Quick sidebar / shout out, if I may, on the Clinton family.
Yes.
My friend and yours, Ryan Balkum.
Oh,
shout out.
Stop.
Was caddying at the PGA Tour event in California this past weekend, which is sponsored in part by the Clinton Foundation.
The global initiative, or is it something different?
No, it's their like health and fitness foundation type of thing. He met Slick Willie.
No, he didn't.
Got to meet him. Yeah, he had a nice American flag hat on for the final round. He's out there getting warmed up with this guy, and one of the Secret Service guys comes up to him, tells him he should go take a picture with the president.
Stop it right now.
And he was like, would he do that? He said, absolutely. Secret Service guy hooked it up, took pictures, went over, shook Bill's hand, and took a picture and talked to him for a minute. And I mean, just that's to box. That's pretty sweet.
I'm so jealous. Do you know what I would do if I met Bill Clinton? The Secret Service would have to actually throw me in the trunk.
You're already on their list.
Well, yeah. Now that I put this on the internet, now of course it's great. Now
your reputation precedes you.
So okay, but I went off on a tangent there with the dab on Hillary because I'm so upset with her because she didn't stick the dab. But going back to Cam Newton, the genius is he has realized that by creating this firestorm, and again, this is my half-bold statement, of him celebrating and dancing. And look, a lot of it is nefarious. I think there's a real problem with the way he's perceived around this league. It says a lot about how people of his situation, a successful, attractive, outspoken black athlete, how they're treated. But I think that this is he's used it as an opportunity to distract from the fact that these guys are going to beat up on you.
I disagree.
You don't think it's a little bit of let's ride it, let's roll with it?
Well, I think yes, but not for the reasons that you're stating. I don't think it's an intentional thing of, hey, let's create a semi-controversy, or hey, we'll use that to distract from. I don't think it's any of that. I think that's just who he is. He honestly doesn't really care.
Okay.
He has the support of Coach Rivera and the Panthers front office, and I think that they've really empowered all of these guys because there's some characters on this team.
Yes.
Josh Norman, chief among them, and as long as it doesn't cross any lines as far as dirty play or trouble off the field or any of that sort of thing, I think that they are very much empowered to be who they are and to carry themselves with whatever swagger or machismo or whatever label you want to put on it. They just want them to be themselves. And that translates to success on the field. So I don't think it's a statement for the purpose of making a statement.
Okay.
I think it's just he has been empowered to be himself and play his game, and that is naturally how he handles himself.
And to your point, what an amazing thing that the coaching staff is, and Ron Rivera is allowing in letting him be himself, because how many quarterbacks do we see, really just athletes, on this short leash where the second there's a potential for controversy, it's like all of a sudden we have to duck away and become politically correct, but it's and they're not doing that, and that's beautiful.
No, and I think it's a trust that has earned that he's earned over time and has evolved over time, because this is their 5th season together, and there have been some growing pains along the way, and there were times where he would, I guess sulk maybe is the best word, where as a competitor he wanted to win and they weren't winning, and he didn't always carry himself in the most positive way, not to the point of being a distraction or being a bad teammate, but just to the point of he would get down and he wore his heart on his sleeve.
Yeah.
And I think he has evolved as a player and as a person to the point where he has the complete trust of so many people on that team. And, last night they're up at the half, and he says, "Hey, I got the halftime speech. I got it. I want to talk to the guys."
Wow.
And took it upon himself and talked to them, and they came out and they didn't play the way they have in some second halves this year, where they've let teams get back in them. They came out and scored 10 straight points in the third quarter to sort of take a stranglehold of the game. And I think all this other stuff, all the extraneous – are we allowed to curse on this podcast?
I haven't decided on that yet, so let's keep it PG for now, and then let's see where we go. Because I don't know what we're going to do with it, but yeah, that's for later.
All the extraneous BS.
Yeah.
I just don't think he worries about it. If people want to get upset and they want to make that the narrative in the conversation for whatever reason, and that's sort of a different conversation for a different day.
Yes.
I just don't think he cares. And as long as his guys and the people that he feels accountable to are okay with what he's doing, he's not going to change it. And I respect the hell out of that.
Okay. Now with that, we're under 5 minutes in the show. Do you have a prepared Schmoopy of the week? Because I got mine. I already talked about it to you in the green room before the show.
It's basically the same conversation that we have every week.
Yeah. So I don't know. Are you prepared to schmoop or not?
I am not prepared. You're going to take solo schmoop of the week honors this week.
Okay. Well, I'm going to close out the show. I had saved the Hillary dab.
Is that your schmoop? Is Hillary your schmoopy?
No. That I was just.
That's a bold statement.
No, no, that's not my schmoop.
Bill might get jealous.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be a real real role reversal there. I think no. What I was bringing her up for is that there were some things that we skipped over today, but no. The reason why I want to end the show with Schmoopy of the Week. Can we not? And we did a podcast a couple years ago, and we did it a couple weeks ago. We did it live on Doug Branson, a good friend of the program, on his platform. Now we're doing it on ours.
Follow Hype Talk Live, everybody.
Yeah, we need to actually. I guess we should have corresponded with them before we started doing this, but we'll liaise with them after. But we talked about the AT&T shorty. She's going on 2 years now.
It's been a good gig for her.
Can we get her a role? The latest AT&T commercial with the data rich, when she drops that "you're data rich" line. Come on, I'm done. Have you seen this commercial?
I have.
Bro, hey, can we look? And I know she's making buku for a daily running AT&T ad. That's got to be you basically just fed your family for life, basically, with that for the last 2 years. I'm into it totally. But let's get her on a show. Let's get something popping.
She had a cameo on Californication way back when. It wasn't a big one. A couple of years ago.
Okay. I mean, that was when she was probably on her grind trying to get up to where she is now. I want the big stuff.
You want her on the new TNT two-person lead drama with her and somebody else, and they're mismatched cop partners or something?
It doesn't have to be a cop drama, because I think that's kind of like quicksand for an acting career. No, like not that I know anything.
Franklin and Bash, but one of the attorneys is actually dead and is a ghost, and they correspond with each other during court cases, and nobody else can see her. That type of thing.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Like that to me, it's just like, well, that's like the end of the road. Like I think that she's like just ready to go. I mean, she did like a Buffalo Wild Wings commercial. This is bad. This is stalkerish right now. I need to stop. But let's get her in. I mean, I'm not talking about a guest spot on Two Broke Girls, because that's like seems like where everybody ends up these days. I want, lead in a NBC or ABC comedy half hour. This needs to happen now. I'm starting a petition. We're gonna make it a word thing. She's gonna be like the mascot. That's probably offensive to say mascot, right? She's gonna be.
It seems very a little insensitive. A friend of the show. We have a friend of the show. You have a vested interest in her career.
That's because she's good. The Data Rich commercial. Come on. Are you kidding me?
You're a fan of her comedic timing. You think she deserves a shot on a bigger platform.
How is she not getting picked? Who is getting picked over her? I'm sorry. I just spent the whole close of the show talking about somebody in an AT&T commercial. Yeah. Okay.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is how you get a restraining order live on the air.
This is terrible. That's terrible. Okay, I need to tone it down. Okay. Well, for those of you that are joining us live, no one is joining us live. I thought I saw somebody on there. But for those of you that are joining us live or listening on the
listening posthumously,
or posting from the grave, thank you for joining us. This show will be. You can subscribe on YouTube and you'll be notified when there's new episodes. You can also follow it live. Maybe we'll do Monday nights. That'll be a thing that we do. I think that's a good way to start the week.
And whatever we do, it'll be better than this show. We're shaking the rust off.
You don't think this is the pinnacle for us? You think that you can get better than this?
Pinnacle for me.
That's not a rhetorical question.
For you.
No, that wasn't a rhetorical question.
Let me drop a real quick bold statement on you before.
Closing bold. Go ahead.
I think at least one team breaks the 96 Bowl 72-10 record in the NBA this year. At least one.
At least one. That means you're saying.
Here's the thing. It's going to be really hard to be more than one, just because the Spurs and Warriors haven't played before tonight at all, and they play at least 3 times. So that's 3 losses right there between the two teams.
Yes.
I think at least one of them gets to 73 wins.
Wow. I'm writing that down and I'm dating it.
I think Golden State more likely than San Antonio, just because Pop will rest guys and do his Pop thing and not really care about the regular season. But
at least one team will get 73 wins. 73 wins this season. Wow.
It's happening. Lock.
Good. What did the Mike and Mike used to say? Stone cold
lead pipe locks.
There you go. Okay. Closing the show with a lock. See, that's how you close a show. I close the show with basically a puppy love statement, and you close it out with a bold statement. That's how. See, this is why the American people voted for you in the last election, because of statements like that.
All 3 of you, thank you.
The write-in votes.
Write-ins. Mom, Dad, it was very kind of you to waste your vote on me.
Yeah, I mean, that's really, you only get one every 4 years, so.
Make it count.
They did. That's what they did.
Rock the vote, everybody. Get out there and vote.
Yeah, so, here's the great thing. The next time we do this show, if we're doing it weekly, which has not been decided upon, we will be in the post-Iowa caucus period, which will basically determine what the next year, or I guess less than a year because the election's in November, will go like for the presidential election, including your candidacy, which is not as widely publicized, but just as important for working class Americans.
And speaking of said candidacy, I have maybe some borderline controversial opinions that I'd like to share next week. It's nothing about policy per se.
Oh, wow.
But just some perceived things that people often say or reiterate around election time.
Oh,
I'm not necessarily sure I agree with.
Let me get a tease. I actually don't. I have an idea of where you're going, but I want to just get a tease. And this isn't even for the viewers. I just want to know.
Let's just say P. Diddy might not be happy with what I have to say.
Ooh. Does he still do his rock the vote party? What is it? Is it? Is it? What is it called? It was a big MTV thing back when people watched MTV.
It used to be rock the vote, and then it got a little too aggressive with vote or die.
Oh, that's right. That's right. My whole thing with let's do that next week. Okay.
Let's put a pin in it.
Next week is because it's between the Super Bowl week, so there won't be anything to talk about. Next week will be the word decision 2016.
No.
Never thought.
No.
You don't want to do a whole show on the election?
No, teach. You got somebody on the Republican side and the Democratic side. I'm not saying. I'm just they might. You never know.
See, wouldn't that be good? We could do the whole. How come they haven't done that? Let's get Berman. Wait, why hasn't there been an ESPN debate? What is going on? Why haven't they done one?
Oh, they do one of those every day, and it's awful.
No. But I mean, get the candidates and have what's her name? Moderate it. Well, they're all the same now. Get out of here. They won't get out of here.
What?
Wait, is that the one that hosted? Is Hannah Storm the former swimmer that hosted those shows on Nickelodeon?
No, that's Summer Sanders.
Who's that? No, Summer Sanders.
Hannah Storm's an actual journalist and producer, and actually somebody who knows what she's talking about. I didn't realize you were making a joke. I was actually giving you a legitimate option to moderate some sort of debate. But if that's not where you want to go with it, that's fine.
I do not want to go there because that's just that's been done. That's the last
thing ESPN needs is more debate on their airwaves.
Right. No, I meant wouldn't it be funny if they did what is her name? See, this is gonna kill me. They're all the same now. The hot sideline reporters are all the exact same person. So I can't tell them apart. And they do that on purpose, no? They seem like they're all interchangeable. When the thing that used to be great about sideline reporters is they had a real unique personality. Am I way off here? I don't know.
I never look. Twitter has rendered the sideline reporter obsolete because I understand and support the idea of having the sideline reporter there because you can actually glean information. But male or female, if it's talk to the coach coming out of the locker room. He said they need to score more points and not give up as many points in the second half. Back to you, Joe.
Right. Or the
what is it possible to tell me? Yeah. Whereas during if somebody gets injured and goes to the locker room, they need to pop in and say, "Hey, this is what's going on." They're looking at this. He may or may not be back. And anytime they seem to give an injury update, it's always "Yeah, I saw that on Twitter 10 minutes ago." No, thanks.
Ah, okay. Well, where I was going originally was I wanted Erin Andrews, but she isn't even on ESPN anymore. She's on
Fox.
But you could do a Fox debate too. I'm just I ran out of steam there because I got too caught up on Summer Sanders.
Yeah, we're kind of limping to the finish right now.
No, I know, and this is why I set my timer on my phone because I knew this was going to happen. This is for those of you that have never seen the show before, which is probably a good number of you. This is actually the format that we're used to, but imagine this spread out over 3 hours.
Okay, we get 3 hours. We go an hour and a half tops.
Are you kidding me? You're crazy. No, hour and a half. That's a short show for us.
You're not. You're adding in the hour of me showing you YouTube videos where we go on the air that you would just think was part of the show.
The hour of you what? You cut out there.
The hour before we go on air where I would just show you random YouTube videos, you would just assume that was part of the show. You built that into your recollection of how long it would take.
What? We weren't live during that? That was the best part of the show.
I know. The shoes are mine.
Okay, well, okay, so next week, it's been decided. An entire Decision 2016
not entire
of the word. I know, I'm just kidding. That would be I can't even look at a TV, and like I just can't do it with all the politics.
Well, we'll have a fresh Super Bowl take, that I can guarantee you. Well, there may be countless hours of coverage on ESPN and NFL Network. We give you a different viewpoint here with the word. This is the view of the fan. This is the little sought after and maybe for good reason opinion of the everyday fan.
Yeah, and you know what? So we're gonna get a Super Bowl take. We're gonna do the Rich Abernethy soapbox political take. Not soapbox in a negative way, but we're gonna give you an actual soapbox. And you know what else we're gonna do next week? We're going to bring on a guest. I have no idea who this person will be or what they're going to talk about.
Wow, that's a challenge right there.
I like to give myself homework. What can I say? So that will happen. Yeah. So let's close out the show. We've schmooped. We've Super Bowled. Hillary has got to get a better campaign dance manager because she also, I didn't even get into this. She also whipped. I'm going to stop. She whipped. It was terrible.
Nay.
I'm sorry?
Nay.
I lost you there. No, say again?
You said she whipped. I said nay. Nay.
She
was a little too clever. Sorry.
No. It's just because you cut out. I didn't hear it. No, she whipped and she nay-nayed, and it was absolutely god-awful. And I can't believe they're letting her go out on these campaign stops and not informing her of what the current dances are.
I just assumed she would do the Charleston or the mashed potato.
Or the twist, yeah. I didn't get to talk about Greg Olson, but do you remember the song that the Miami guys did, that rap song that came out when we were in college? 7-4
Crew, G-Reg. Oh, yeah.
That was unbelievable. That was like the best. That's like the best rap song ever. It's the worst thing ever, but it's also the best. Anyway, so for Richard Bruce McAllister Abernethy.
You're just making up names. I love it.
I'm James Mundia. Thank you for joining us on The Word. The Word is rebooted. It's back. It's the sentence. It's the paragraph. We will see you.
It's good to be
next
back.
Week. It is good.